Yesterday was the final day of the NATO summit, so here's everything that happened. First things first, Mark Rutte's doorstep statement. He talks about the fact that 258 billion extra dollars was spent by European and Canadian allies. He talks about how this year's summit was about getting things done. Last year's summit was coming up with the plans and not really doing anything about it. This year's summit was all about getting things done, which as a result created 200,000 jobs. He talks about how the 4% of GDP from each members was reached this year and that the 5% goal that I spoke about yesterday could be reached sooner. One of the questions that he got asked was about Greenland, and his response was NATO's aims when it comes to Greenland is to protect it from Russia and China. This was the welcoming ceremony of leaders. So you've obviously got Rutte, the Turkish president, and in the middle, that's the president of Albania. And we also got the iconic family photo, which I'm always excited for. I love the family photos every single time that leaders get together. And there was also a video circulating when it came to this moment about Meloni and Trump's tensions, and how Meloni was trying to intentionally ignore Trump. This was the meeting with heads of states, and so many things were talked about. One of the topics that they discussed was about Ukraine and how they will receive 140 billion in combined military aid. There were things about boosting defense industry, so weapons, technology, but also innovation. And the whole thing about Article 5 and reminding leaders to stay committed to it. Meanwhile, as well, Trump announces that the ceasefire with Iran will be over, and also a £37 billion missile project, which aims to strike targets 200 miles away with point accuracy, which will extend to 1,250 miles. Keir Starmer made a comment on the project, and he says that it will help bring European allies together to keep NATO safe for years to come. And also in the meeting with leaders, as I showed you with the one with the president of Albania, yes, Emmanuel Macron did show up in sunnies. I'm not kidding. And we've also got a behind the scenes photo here. This is Peter Pellegrini with Giorgia Meloni, and it's just them two having a conversation. I don't know about what, but they're probably just gossiping, right? The president of Turkey's wife hosted a lunch event kind of thing for all the spouses within NATO. And every year with NATO summits, there's always the family portrait in the middle with leaders signing around it, and this is the president of Turkey signing it. And we also got a behind the scenes photo from that day as well. This is of Macron basically running just before the summit like began and all that sort of stuff. And I think this photo is just so real and is so like makes a leader feel more in touch with the people. Now is the press conference. This is the final thing that literally wraps up the summit. This is basically just a summary of what happened within this year's summit. And when asked about the tensions between Trump and other allies like Italy, he calls it an alliance's democratic strength and also serves as a resistance against Russia. So I hope you guys enjoyed me reporting on the NATO summit. This has been quite fun and I hope to do it next year. If there's any more things you want me to report on, I can and I will. But I really enjoyed this year's NATO summit, and I think this is the best NATO summit yet. Dare I say that? But I hope you guys enjoy.